Welcome to Absolute Comics. I am one of your hosts, Sal, and this is, of course, Benny, the comic historian. We're going to be talking about some of the biggest news in comics and, of course, some of the things in the ancillary areas of the pop culture, comic book-related landscape. Let's jump into it. Benny, how you doing, man?
I'm good and surprised. When I said kick it off, Sal, I thought I meant like press record.
Oh. I've been recording for the last 25 minutes.
Have you?
Yeah, I told you.
I just pressed record. Oh, welcome to Absolute Comics. Right, Sal? I'm doing great. How are you? What's our sponsor, Sal?
It's, of course, G Fuel. It is a terrific powder you can put into water and drink for energy and sustenance. I don't have any on me right now, but Benny's drinking some right now. I think it's what?
Peach cobbler.
Peach cobbler. He's drinking a pie right now.
I have got a little fun note here because you know we do D&D, right? And when creating the characters, I thought it'd be a lot of fun to have like Mountain Dew as a health item, and Red Bull gives Dan wings so he can go faster.
Sure.
And someone put in the comments, shouldn't all that be G Fuel brands? Aren't you guys now promoting the competitors? I'm like, oh yeah, that should all be G Fuel brand.
Yeah.
So tomorrow on Thursday's game, Dan will be chugging Lindenberry to go fast.
See, that's the way to do it. That's called brand integration. That's what that's all about.
Yeah. So and then they can use the Nemesis tea if they want to get health.
Why not? I mean.
So all right, Sal. So there's a couple core things we want to talk about today. We're going to talk about Future State this week, and I got one. What the hell's going on with Green Lantern? But I got that for you in a little bit.
Looking forward to it.
Before we get into that, I don't think Sal and I have ever covered the strategic planning of Absolute Comics and why people do question us when we're like, hey, we're taking a week off. I want to do it for the people who watch the show, listen to the show. I want to explain what our rationale is behind like taking time off and things like that. Because the immediate assumption is, oh, Benny wants to play video games and Sal just wants to, I don't know what you do other than what you watch movies. Sal wants to watch movies.
I make YouTube videos. But I do watch movies and TV and cartoons and stuff like that. Hang on.
Right. You have hobbies, Sal.
Yeah. That's true.
Like I'm talking to some friends of mine that are like, oh, I don't know what to do today. I'm like, find a hobby that doesn't involve waiting for people to be done with work.
It's tricky.
So anyway, when Sal and I started the show, the biggest issues that we had with the weekly poll, and this isn't like why the show ended. The show ended because everyone just kind of moved on. But one of the issues that Sal and I had was that we felt that it was unorganized, and it basically boiled down to four buddies just BSing on a podcast, which we don't dislike that style of content. We're not against that style of content, but the problem that we started to see with the weekly poll is after week after week after week of it always being buddies BSing, and as we started to derail further and further from being a professional show, we saw the viewer counts drop, we saw the retention drop, we saw advertisers vanishing, we saw creators not being interested in being on the show.
Right.
So what eventually happened was when Sal and I decided we're bored because we don't have the weekly poll anymore, let's make Absolute Comics. We decided that we wanted to make it a very professional show. So it would always be about comics, movies, and TV show in that particular order. Normally we keep to that order. And it would be handled in an organized fashion, and it would be a very professional show, which means that we would ensure that high quality microphones at any time. We would ensure that the cameras are on point. We would ensure that we both have showered, done our hair, you know what I mean? Like we look like we should be on a show, like someone that you guys are supporting through your views, your Twitch subs, your Patreon subs, getting G Fuel. If you're supporting us, we feel like this needs to be treated like a job that we show up to. Now, as a caveat to that, not every week is there comic books because of the pandemic, TV shows because of the pandemic, or movies because of the pandemic, and holidays. And so what ended up happening is we had the discussion. Do we do a BS episode? While we do those, we don't want that to becoming normal thing. We want when Sal and I BS on the show, it's a special thing. So that when you guys see the weekly poll, when you see the Absolute Comic Show has gone live, or you see it getting posted on YouTube, or you see it getting posted up on Spotify, you're like, oh, while they may BS, they're going to talk about something because they only get together when there's something worth talking about.
Right.
We want you guys, when we're not here, it's because there's nothing that we feel we can fill an hour with. And we don't want to fill time for the sake of having a show. Sal has like 3 other projects. I have 2 other projects. So it's not like we do this as our primary source of income. This is not me saying don't support the show if you want to. We do appreciate your support. But since it's not a primary source of income, we can make every show better by ensuring we have good content. We have good talking points. We are here when there's something to discuss and not just showing up going, so Sal, We
what's
doing?
up? Like, let's take questions from the audience. Like, and that's the other thing is we don't want it to devolve into something that like a vocal minority of the audience seems to prefer. Like, 'cause there is a subset of an audience that wants basically a show that is a reflection of themselves, where it's like, let's just hang out and chat and just BS for an hour or 3. And it's like, yeah, that is fun, and yeah, that is tempting, but we don't want that to become, like you said, the norm, and we don't want to seem like that is what the kind of show we're putting on, and we don't want it to appeal to that too much, because we don't want the audience to seem like it's interested in that, but on the back end find out like you said, sponsors are dropping out, more
creators don't want to be in interviews,
and moreover, like part of the quagmire of making online content is that like you need to have a steady stream of turnover. How many of you out there watching this show have watched a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer for like a year or two where that was your life? You just watched, and then one day you just stopped. I know I have like 8 of those over the last 10 years.
Yeah, I did too.
Where I was like,
because you just stopped recommending them,
right? Or like, or I was just like, oh, I know what they're gonna do. This thing I've watched 1,000 times, and that's exciting and familiar. But at the same time, it also eventually you just move on. You want something new, and so rather than give you the same familiar thing over and over again, and keeping like that core of you that loves just watching Benny and Sal shoot the crap all the time, we need to make something that's also like a show, like that has these things, to have the turnover. Because if you don't have...
on the flip side, guys, keep in mind, Sal and I did the just shoot the shit thing for what, 5-6 years on the weekly poll?
Yeah.
We wanted something more. We wanted to create a better product. That's it, like, because we did that. We did that for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. We know where that leads. We know how long, we know what the half-life is in that kind of show. And we know that it leads to what Benny and I do when there isn't a pandemic and we're just hanging out physically. We're sitting in chairs, a room apart from each other, looking at our phones and barely having a conversation about anything. Like, it's just, trust me.
Hey, when you come here, we chat all night, man.
That's
it's
true.
Like a slumber party.
I know. But like, there are good lulls between where it's like, like, I don't know. I got nothing to talk about right now. And it's like, trust me, you don't want a show like that. So Absolute Comics.
So, I mean, and the reason I'm explaining this is we got a comment today, and I know it's from a fan who's been following the show for a while, always comments when we make posts about the Absolute Comics. Yeah. But he said, hey, you guys have been taking a lot of breaks. Sounds like a flimsy excuse to me. And I don't know if we've ever sat down and explained the strategy behind this show. And so combined with that being our strategy and hitting the holidays, we were just taking a lot of off time. And as a matter of fact, this particular day, we were going to take off because the discussion was there's not that much to talk about. And as of Friday, WandaVision starts.
Yeah.
So literally, as of Friday, we got Future State, The Future of DC, King in Black, WandaVision on a weekly basis. Like, there will be no more breaks.
Yeah.
So why don't we just take the day off? And that was what it came down to, because we were like, still kind of in a pseudo lull. We don't really have enough to fill a full episode. But then I read the Green Lantern issue.
Yeah. Now, have you done any? Have you done any like meta reading on who is writing that series, who's taking over for Green Lantern afterwards, and like what their kind of like public opinion of the Green Lanterns is?
No, but once I tweeted out my opinions, a lot of people informed me.
And I feel like that's the thing, is that like, and by the way, I'm looking forward to hearing your Green Lantern rant. I wanted to say I'm glad we dispelled what, our, concerns are about the show. I also wanted to say this is not while we were going to cancel today's show, we do have things to talk about. This is not like we're going to pad this until we get to like 2/3 of the show and then
no.
Deadpool 3, baby. Like, no, I promise. Like, we actually do have subjects. And
let's ever talk about Deadpool 3 real quick.
Yeah.
It's happening. It's R-rated. I'm excited.
I can't wait. Oh,
it's like, I don't have anything else to say. I really don't.
The only thing I was going to say was, and it's just,
I got him in Strike Force. I mean,
nice. Who's voicing him? Is it Nolan North?
He doesn't have a voice in Strike Force.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm excited. It looks.
But I wouldn't doubt it was Nolan.
We're not even going to see. Oh, good.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We're not even going to see that Deadpool movie for like what, 2 years?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, everything is just now starting to start filming again. Yeah. Like, it's not even like things have been going. We finally are getting word of Spider-Man and things like that.
Yep.
Which I loved Kevin Feige tweeting out. some of the rumors are true and some are not. Thanks, Kevin.
But some of those rumors are multiple Spider-Men, and other rumors are about Daredevil. Oh, please let the Daredevil one be true. Because I don't want to see more Spider-Men. I just want to see Spider-Man and Daredevil.
I heard the rumor that Michael Keaton Batman's going to show up in it. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yes, I want Spider-Man 3. Yeah. It is the most ambitious movie ever made. No question.
What would you do if there's a Michael Keaton Batman?
Oh my God. Yeah, I'd be very disappointed. Because every time they make one of these like $200 million spectacles, it's always an opportunity to do something that like touches our hearts, homages what's come before, and gives us something we've never seen before. And every time that they like slip or screw up or don't do that, I'm like, what a wasted opportunity. Like, I appreciate that like you do this all the time, but like we don't see these all the time. Like, yeah, I just saw a Spider-Verse movie. It's great. Maybe we'll see Kraven fight Spider-Man because we've never seen that in a movie before. Oh no, you're going to do Spider-Verse again? Oh, again? Okay, because I just saw it and I really enjoyed it. I feel like doing it again is kind of diminishing return. No? Okay. Oh, I'm wrong. Okay, fair enough. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I felt the same way when they're like, oh, the Spider-Man coming back. I'm like, oh, that would be cool. We get Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, we get Tom Holland. I'm on board with that. On the other hand, it's only been like 2 years, guys.
Yeah. and they're going to do a sequel to that animated movie too. So it's like...
Right, which I guarantee is going to involve the multiverse.
and I have no doubt that the Spider-Men from the previous movies were going to be in that one.
Right.
I don't know. Anyway. So Green Lantern.
Okay. Well, first off, Future State, I feel, is getting weirder with their timelines.
Future State, man, you're absolutely right. It's right on the money with that timeline thing. Because at what point do most of these stories take place?
Okay, well, I got a great example. In Justice League, John and Yara are hanging out, best buds, want to make the Justice League like the old Justice League. They're like on the verge of dating.
Right.
Superman, Wonder Woman, she has quit the league. She's against John. She's arguing with him. Mm-hmm. I'm like...
Yeah, meanwhile, Superman is him shrinking Krypton, or him shrinking Metropolis, and Supergirl's fighting him, but Superwoman is the same character and not Supergirl, and Yara Flor just debuted in Wonder Woman, has no tether to any of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and Flash is now. What?
Yeah, Flash is now. Like, Bart has not aged, and neither has Wallace.
By the way, for the record, I have it on good authority that that will not be in continuity.
Oh, the Flash thing?
Yeah. At all.
But it gets even better. Let's just look at the Batman.
Oh, God.
The Batman stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. No, because, by the way, like, yeah, you got 2 Batman books. You got the next Batman. You got this week's Dark Detective. And, of course, Batman's appearances in Justice League. So,
yeah.
What?
Yeah. Which I guess takes place way after because the suit's different too.
The suit's different
in Justice League,
and he's never met any of these characters yet in any of the other books.
Yeah, right. And in Robin Eternal, Robin is now Tim Drake is now Robin.
Right.
But over in Titans, it's been spoiled that Nightwing is Red X. So I don't know what's going on with that. And then, by the way, Duke and Katana are doing a thing.
Not to mention, of course, the debut of
the Arkham Knights.
Oh, the Arkham Knight. Yeah. I was going to say Harley Quinn and Jonathan Crane's Scarecrow haven't aged, but the magistrate...
I think they de-aged Harley. She looks like she's like 18.
And
that art style.
By the way, I am all about it. Like, that Harley Quinn book looks amazing. And I love the concept.
It's gorgeous as hell, but it doesn't look like Harley.
No.
It looks like it's not even, it's in its own world, separate from everything else. Right after DC's like, no, Harley's in the Bat family, except here. This one's separate.
Well, she will be. We made plans around this repackaged 5G thing. So, like, trust me, she'll be in the Bat family in the Tynan book when it comes out.
I want to comment on the Red X thing real quick. On one hand, I'm happy that they didn't delay it because we knew it was going to turn into just like Requiem with Gamora, like just somebody we knew. It wouldn't be a unique character.
I can't believe. Thank you for dropping the Requiem Gamora thing. That was like wow, that was so lame.
But, like, I want to say it's page 3 that Dick is like, Yeah, so they got the Red X story, and I used to be Red X. It's basically what he says, right? Like have you read today's Titans?
No.
Oh, okay. So it's spoilers. Don't worry. Nothing else happens in this book.
Right.
Page 3, he's holding the Red X mask and basically implies he was Red X.
Right.
Like, okay, and how the Titans have fallen apart and they're rebuilding, and Garth is merged with Cyborg to be Beastborg. Don't ask. I know. They didn't explain it. And I'm like, okay, so what's probably going to happen is the Red X mask is going to be picked up by one of these new characters that they've introduced and become the new Red X.
Yes.
And no, the book ends with him being like, now I'm Red X again.
What? Okay. You see, I bought every single Future State book from last week, and I enjoyed one of them. So I bought 2 Future State books this week, and I liked both of them. So I think my plan is just whittle it down to like 1 or less after.
Well, I liked them for the most part, but the Titans one was just weird. And it kept being like, oh, this is the Titans disassembled. But don't worry, this is what it was before. But hold on, I'm going to make this even better for you. I want to tell you what they named the new people on the team. Mm-hmm. Hold on, you need to enjoy these killer superhero names, okay?
Okay.
First off, Red Arrow is now just Arrow. But Beast and Cyborg are Beastborg. So Starfire is just Starfire because you can't. The girl in the bikini can never get evolution of her character. Nope. Where is it? When he introduces them all, they go through all their names. Okay. There it is. So the team is the new people are Brat Girl. I did not say that wrong. Brat Girl, and her outfit is similar to Batgirl without a mask. Her hair's in points. Oh. Gorilla Greg, Totally Tubular, Jakeem, and Johnny Chupacabra. Or Johnny and then Chupacabra.
Oh, okay.
So one guy's just like, I don't even need a name. Just call me Johnny.
I prefer Johnny Chupacabra. He turns into a Chupacabra. That'd be amazing.
That's his power.
Yeah. I hate everything about that. I haven't read it, so I'm not going to really disparage it, but like, this is just, it's, when I looked at the cover, I'm like, nah, I'm not going to read that. That's just probably not for me.
I do like Kit Kat Sneak Attack, who's like, I prefer brat. So I'm pretty sure it's brat as in bratwurst. So you want to try and get me to believe that the girl who looks like she's Batgirl is trying to go by the name of a German sausage. I am brat girl.
No one's going to say that.
even if that is the actual name,
right?
No one will say that.
Nope.
It's like I can't remember his name. I call him Barbados in the DC Metal event because Bat's in the name. Guarantee you, it's supposed to be meant the real name it's set. I guarantee you, Scott Snyder wrote it, but Bat's in the name. It'll be fun.
Yeah,
but
well, no, Barbados.
I think it's like Barbados.
It's people say Barbados, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm saying Barbados.
Well, Bunker's back too, and so is Crush, but they weren't in the introduction of the new team members. Well, they have their own page.
Not only that, but it's like, okay, we're seeing the future of the Teen Titans, a future we're never going to see again that doesn't matter. But let's do a flashback to show you what happened to get us here. But that's not going to happen either. I don't care about any of that. Like what?
Exactly.
Like Dark Detective looks amazing, and the Harley Quinn book is like, whoa! Like you almost forget about any of the like confusing stuff because the Harley Quinn book is a story to tell, and it's just doing it. And it doesn't need to complicate itself by trying to over-explain it, nor does it really matter why Crane and Harley didn't age, despite the neither did Bruce, but like, it's been a couple of years.
It's been at least 5 years. You want to know how even more confusing this gets? The Teen Titans book also incorporates the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, as stated in Flash #2.
Oh. Why?
What hasn't come out yet, Sal?
Yeah. Oh, you mean the next Flash? Like Infinite Frontier Flash #2?
Yes.
Oh my God.
No. The Flash Future State Flash 2 apparently is going to reveal that it's the Horsemen of the Apocalypse because they literally go with the information that we have gotten from Barry when he was fighting Wally, and then it goes read Flash #2, and I'm like,
I can't.
That's not out yet.
Damn. Damn. That's why I think so many creators at DC are talking about Infinite Frontier, because they're like, well, we didn't work on this. And let me tell you something. This seems kind of unruly and out of control. But trust me, at one point in the near future, it'll be over, and we'll never refer to it again.
I'm pretty sure Future State. No, because some stuff's sticking around.
Some stuff's sticking around, but only the things that are financially viable and successful.
Like Yara. Yara is a permanent fixture
Bingo.
now. They're keeping her around. I do like that the new Green Lantern's being kept around.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Oh, Far Sector.
Far Sector Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should know her name.
She's interesting.
Her book looked amazing and was
But it's just funny because you can kind of tell the ones that are going to be gone, basically. You know what I mean? Like, Flash is not going to get referenced either. They're doing this whole Horseman of the Apocalypse thing, which basically, if this is the remnants of 5G, I think there was a Horseman of the Apocalypse storyline going on in 5G at launch. I'm just throwing it out there.
Feels like that might have been a big thing.
It looks like it was going to cross a couple books. It's going to be a part of a couple storylines.
Oh. Now, not. Because every book is either 2 or 4 issues.
It's weird.
Whatever.
There was another thing I wanted to talk to you about before I go into my Green Lantern. Right?
Oh, okay. Well,
it was Death Metal skipping all the. How did you feel about Death Metal skipping the fights for the most part?
I mean,
and putting them in a tie-in.
At the end of the day, I didn't like Death Metal, and I didn't really care for the story, and I felt like it kind of got away from itself. So, yes, it wouldn't it have been cool to have Greg Capullo drawing like some really rad fights, but if there's no depth or I don't care about what the stakes are, then you might as well not. You might as well just stick them in a tie-in. I did enjoy the Titans one, and I laughed heartily at the new Watcher character bring back Metron issue, but otherwise I had no joy in Death Metal.
I do like this as they were kind of retconning a bunch of stuff anyway. Yeah. They were just like, Roy's back. He's just undead.
Yep. So's Alfred.
So's Alfred, yeah.
Well, I mean, they better. Fix those mistakes with this.
Yeah, but Alfred's still gone.
Well, he's gone in Batcat.
Right.
And he's gone in Future
James
State.
Tynion.
Oh, yeah, and he's gone in that. But, after Future State, maybe we'll just bring him back. And just pretend like he wasn't.
But isn't that like the whole point of Ghostmaker to kind of replace Alfred?
Oh yeah, that is the point of him. I honestly, I'll be honest. I dropped the book. I don't enjoy Tynion's run anymore. And
dude, okay.
My wife gave me the lowdown on Ghostmaker and how he's replaced Alfred and he's gonna help him and challenge him and stuff. And I'm like, I don't care about your McFarlane action figure. I'm not interested in Ghostmaker.
I will say, James Tynion's run did kind of start off a little weird and slow with just Ghostmaker showing up and them trying to, but with it concluding, I would attempt jumping back on. I would. It is not terrible. I feel like James Tynion's Joker War would kind of blitz through a lot of stuff, and now he's got room to breathe, so he's breathing. You got to remember how long it took him to get to the point Justice League Dark.
He never got there. He had to hand it over to Ram V.
Right. Well, so give him 20 issues and someone else to take over.
Yeah, great. Because Justice League Dark was good. But yeah, no. I never got there. I'm happy with. I genuinely. I know I've mentioned it a few times, but I like Dark Detective. I just enjoyed it.
I didn't read that one. It's the only one I haven't read yet.
Man.
Actually.
Well, that's the one we were worried about because of the last episode, but. The voice is pretty good for Bruce, and I like seeing Bruce at his wit's end. It's a different kind of Bruce. It's a Bruce who's got nothing, and he's trying, and he's got a mission, and he's got nobody, and he's like, I can't let go of being Batman. And I'm like, good for you.
Can't let go.
Good. Do something about it. And I'm like, this is fun. And the art, of course, is Dan Mora. He is a wizard. Keep it up. It's such a good looking series or a good looking issue. It's like Darrington's book. I don't really care about next Batman, but any Darrington on anything, particularly Batman, I guess I'll buy it.
Right.
So go for it. But yeah, no, I dug it. I think you might enjoy it too. It's a lighter Bruce than you might be used to, which might bother some people. He doesn't not take it seriously. It's just kind of he's. I guess for a minute, he doesn't have a cave. He's not thinking about his parents. Alfred's not around. There's no Robins to worry about. So it's just him kind of by himself in basically in de facto Neo Gotham. So he's kind of like, what am I going to do now? And it's he might have a personality. and that's kind of fun. I kind of dig it.
Right. I'll check it out after. This is literally the only one I haven't read yet. I moved over to catch up on X-Men and X Factor because I didn't want to I'm done with Ten of Swords, Sal. And then you're like, how's that X-Men, Benny? And I'm like, I haven't read it. Was there another event starting soon?
Yeah, not yet. But yeah, I haven't read any X-Men either. But I missed it. I heard the new X-Men dropped a week or two ago, and I'm like, oh damn, I missed it. So I'll have to read it.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. I was in that boat too.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Have you read it?
No. Well, because I knew who was writing it, and I'm like, nah. Not that I want to give him a shot, but having seen the opinions, and I'm like, I'm not the world's biggest Green Lantern fan, but I will always be down for a new or exciting premise. And knowing that there's kind of this plan or this desire to marginalize one over another, it's I'm good. I don't need to read a Green Lantern book.
Yeah. So I'll explain it to you then. First off, let me caveat this. I am a huge Green Lantern fan, but what I'm a huge Green Lantern fan of was the original Jeff Johns run, and then what Robert Venditti did as a pickup to it.
Yes.
Wasn't as good as Jeff Johns' run, but I think he did a great job of continuing what we knew and kind of building upon it. I think he did a great job with that.
Totally.
I'm a huge fan of Hal, John, Kyle, and Guy. I loved it when they brought in Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz. I love the Lanterns because I'm a huge sci-fi fan, and I love the idea of somebody with a ring that can do anything.
Yeah.
Literally anything. It's up to your imagination to save the universe using a ring that will literally do anything. I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. It's right here.
Totally.
So once Grant Morrison took over, I was pretty vocal that I was liking it, but more often than not liking it.
Yes.
At the end of the whole thing, I will say majority I did enjoy. I do think Grant Morrison went a little crazy at times.
Mm-hmm.
I like Liam Sharp's art, but you can tell that he was kind of getting his footing, because my biggest complaint with art is when all the art washes together. There's no depth. There's no perspective. There's no shading. And I'm not a fan of what they did with the Green Lanterns at the beginning because of that.
Mm-hmm.
I get that it's a style of art. I can recognize that. That doesn't mean I enjoy that particular type of art.
Right.
That's just my opinion. But anyway, I didn't mind Grant Morrison. We're probably going to eventually do it on the channel. There's just no rush because it was so separate from everything. I don't have to do it to tie it into anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when I heard, and for the record, I didn't know about this writer at all. When we had that video and I said, I don't know who these people are,
yes.
I didn't look into them afterwards. I stayed not knowing who they were.
Right, exactly. But you were also vocal about, I don't know who this guy is, and I don't know what this book is going to be about. And then people let you know.
Yeah, well, so apparently this guy has been very vocal that he hates Hal Jordan and thinks he's a cardboard cutout and wants nothing to do with him.
Right. Okay,
you know what? I'm not against that. I agree with you about not marginalizing one member of this big group, but that kind of happens with the Green Lanterns anyway.
Everyone has their favorite lantern, and everyone wants to give justice to that lantern, and I appreciate wanting to give John his due. I feel like Scott didn't really give him much to work with. I remember that was the pledge. When Justice League launched, he's like, "Listen, John Stewart's the Green Lantern in this book," and it's cool, okay, great. But he never really did anything or got anywhere.
No, he made him that ultraviolet lantern, and it kind of just disappeared.
Yeah, and they just kind of dropped
didn't really
that.
do anything.
But and that's cool. But again, there's always opportunity to give John Stewart a shot, and so I get that.
Yeah. And I'm not even against that. No. And the only writer I've ever seen who actually did a really good job of giving every lantern his due was actually Robert Venditti, which is why I liked his run. He did the core book, and the core book gave everyone a fair amount of time in the spotlight. It was great. I enjoyed it. Grant Morrison ignored everyone, did Hal Jordan. So if you got a guy that's coming in and is like, I just don't want to do Hal Jordan, fine. Hal Jordan just had 36 issues of Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
And guess who didn't show up in that? Any other lantern. So yeah. If we're going to focus on the other 5, I'm on board. But what I like about the lanterns is the freaking ring, Sal.
Yes.
Okay. To me, the storyline of a lantern losing his ring has been done to goddamn death. Hal has lost his ring. John has lost his ring. They've thrown away their rings. Kyle lost his ring. They've all gotten new rings. They've all turned into different things.
Yes.
The best moment that ever happened was when Robert Venditti gave them all their own rings. That was cool.
Okay.
White Lantern, Kyle. Guy Gardner was the Red Lantern.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That was awesome. but it's the laziest thing in the world to make them all lose their powers.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you going to agree to write a superhero book
Right.
and then take away their powers? It would be like somebody going, Sal, I want to write a story about Superman without his powers. They did that. Guess what? Fucking tanked.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It was... The time to do that, at least, is in like an alternate reality future, but I'm not interested.
This is the guy's first story, though.
Yeah, I'm not interested.
Why
in
is his first story?
I guess I assume it's because he wants to explore character and he feels like the powers are too distracting, and so it's like let's pull away the powers, let's focus on the people and see what they can do without the rings, because we want to showcase how extraordinary they are.
You know what? We've done that a lot,
but we've done that already. Well, maybe I didn't read that, so I'm just going to tell a story myself.
To me, it's the laziest thing in the freaking world. To take a superhero and your first story is they got no powers. You know what that says to me? You wanted to write something else. They gave you Green Lantern. You're like, easy fix. Take off the ring. I do what I want.
Right.
Like, it's just stupid. And then apparently this guy made a big stink about how Jon Stewart doesn't get his limelight.
Yes.
Cool. Why did you take his powers?
Well, I'm going to show you how cool and capable he is now. Like, without the ring.
You know what would be cool and capable? Show me what he can make with the ring that can make anything.
Right.
Not only that, when you take away the Green Lantern's rings, you take away all the core. Do you know why Silver Age Green Lantern Hal Jordan did so poorly that they turned him into a villain? Because the Green Lanterns are boring as shit.
Yeah.
It's a space cop that can make anything with his ring. And when you take away the ring and his entire villain set, he's nothing. He's generic sci-fi adventure number one. Well, that is all he is.
Yeah, but he disagrees. And he's like, no, these are characters. And if you feel that if they don't have their rings, they're nothing, then you don't like those characters. Because what you really like are their powers. You should like them for who they are and be excited about their powers.
When I want to read a good sci-fi thing, I go to Image Comics and read 1,001 good sci-fi books that don't involve taking away the one element that makes a Green Lantern interesting.
Yeah. If I'm going to read a Green Lantern book, he better have a Green Lantern in it. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why? Oh, I want to show you how good Jon Stewart can be. Give him his freaking... He led the Corps, and now your plan is in the future. The police state of the Green Lanterns in the future, they're disbanded.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you're just doing what happened like 6 months ago in the news.
Well, yes.
Cool.
I mean, that's definitely...
Green Lanterns.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you're... I mean, again, like, if you want to talk about cops in America, and you're writing a book about space cops, that's your bread and butter. Like, that is what you're gonna do. You're gonna shine a light, especially if you're trying to redeem, in your eyes, Jon Stewart, who is a cop and a person of color. You know, you're gonna want to highlight why he's different, or why he's an exception.
To keep the rings, keep the core, build a different core.
Right.
Like, go in that direction. None of this, no one has rings, we've been disbanded crap. I got halfway through the Jon Stewart stuff and just stopped reading it.
Yeah.
And then I went over to the Jessica Cruz stuff, and she doesn't have her powers either. And I'm like, okay, so you're talking about how Jon Stewart hasn't had his limelight, and then you're going to use Jessica Cruz in your story arcs, and neither of them have powers?
Yeah, yeah.
So now it's just and then she's wearing a jumpsuit like she's in goddamn Aliens?
Well,
I'm like, what are we even doing here?
I mean, maybe. Well, how many books is this one? Do you know if it's a 4-issue or is it a 2-issue?
She became a Yellow Lantern at the ending, and they ended it, by the way.
Oh,
like, we're not even going to see what happens to that, Sal.
Oh, really? That sucks.
It ends with her going, "Yes, you have the ability to instill great fear. Here's a Yellow Lantern ring," and it clearly goes, "The end." I'm like,
ooh.
What?
I don't know. I mean,
and then I get to the third story, and it's Guy Gardner. I'm like, okay, cool. Guy's got his ring. Guy would never give up his ring. What's the first thing they do? Strip his powers.
Well, yeah.
He falls into a civilian again. I'm like,
oh,
why?
I mean, the other thing is, this is not the main universe, so it's like it doesn't even matter. Like, I'm not even.
Why
really
does every new writer think it's the coolest thing ever that the Lantern Corps loses their powers in their rings?
Right. Well,
like, what?
That's the first idea. The first idea is I want to illustrate who these characters are. I want to be able to like highlight how capable they are. But if they have a ring that can do anything, then they really don't have to like work hard to conquer their problems because their problems are conquerable with their magic ring. But if you take away the ring, they suddenly have to figure out, they have to be more clever.
Maybe they should be more intelligent with their writing process and actually think a little outside of the box, like when Simon Baz decided he was going to carry a gun because he didn't want to rely on the ring. And that was an interesting character trait because he didn't want to rely on this magical ring.
Right.
That was something fun and interesting and unique and different. And he didn't use the ring. Instead, he would use the gun because he didn't trust the ring.
But he still would use the ring, though. Like,
but then you still have Green Lantern stuff.
Exactly.
And on top of all, this makes me worried about the stupid Green Lantern show. Are we doing stories that don't involve the ring to save the budget on a Green Lantern show?
I mean, if I were a showrunner, that's one of my suggestions. One episode would have to be a bottle episode where it's like they lose their rings for the episode, or they're in a yellow room. Like, yeah. You have
a yellow Batman.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not, I'm the Green Lantern show sounds way too ambitious. With a comic book, you could literally do anything. And it's like, I do appreciate a good interpersonal drama. I do appreciate my characters being human beings. But I'm also, if I'm reading a book about Green Lanterns, they better have Green Lanterns, and they better have rings, and they better fly around and do cool shit.
Do you want to know what one of the most boring Batman experiences I ever had was? Batman, Telltale's Batman, because it was about Bruce Wayne. Because when you remove the powers of the superhero, I'm watching something else, and you're just making my superhero far less interesting.
Right. That's why I'm reading
I'm flipping through this Green Lantern run right now, and it's like, I got a gun. Okay, I'm shooting these. Oh, they're taking off. I got a laser sword. Oh, now we're having a battle in space. Oh, there's missiles coming down. Oh, it'd be cool to stop those missiles? A Green Lantern ring!
Yeah. But how does he stop them? Maybe that's interesting.
It's just to me, it just strikes me as so lazy.
You've been waiting. The other thing is you've been waiting for an exciting.
And the cover of this shows them all in their uniforms.
Well, yeah, because no one's gonna buy that. No one's gonna buy looking at Guy, John, and Jessica in their civilian outfits on the cover of a Green Lantern. Nobody. But if you show them like walking away from like a big ring, or if them looking sad, you're like, why are they sad? I gotta check this out. It's a choice. But it's also
not a good one.
Here's the thing: at least he's done it. So when he actually does take over for Green Lantern proper, he won't be able to do the depowered story.
Yeah.
At least
I'm just so tired of depowered storylines. Yeah. I get it. We don't want to have the same storyline as Super. So come up with something new.
Yeah.
Something new and exciting. Because what's not new or exciting? Superhero loses their powers.
Yes.
That's like if tomorrow James Tynion put out a story that's like Batman lost his belt. What will he do without gadgets?
That's literally
James,
Dark
I'll read the 20 other stories that did that. He didn't write that, but you know what I'm saying?
No, it's true. But yeah, no, I mean, like, the fact is, it depends on who's writing it. The concept of X loses their powers is a premise, it's a pitch, it's an idea, it's a trope. Why
does DC keep approving these?
Because I don't. Well, number one, I don't think anybody works there. But I mean, there's nobody left. Like. But the other thing is they know they're working with archetypes. They know that who Superman is, even if you never read a Superman comic in your life. So if I flip the script, maybe someone who's never read a Superman comic will read it. Now, we've learned from DCU that that's just straight up not true.
They did that to all the superheroes, and it did so poorly. Let me remind everyone here. DCU was a concept very similar to this, where they said, we're going to do stories over continuity. And what is the purpose of the new DC stuff? We're going to do stories over continuity, but we're going to make it more obvious. DCU's big ideas was a different Batman, a depowered Superman, a Green Lantern without a ring. They gave him a gauntlet, so it's kind of the same thing.
Right, yeah, that's true.
Flash is the only one that, nothing happened to the Flash in DCU.
No, not really. There's Batgirl Burnside. Big changes for Batgirl.
We Are Robin.
Black Canary.
Black Canary had her own book. None of these did well.
No.
And the worst of the bunch were the ones
Batman was Gordon.
I said Batman got swapped out.
That's right, yeah.
So they tried a very similar thing to Future State a while ago.
Yeah.
And it did so poorly as an event that if you look at the DC stuff, it's not in there anymore. Yeah. That stuff is just lumped into the New 52.
Well, you know what they did keep, though? Batgirl.
What? That's the only one, but they don't reference it. So, and for those of you guys who don't know, you're like DCU. That's just the DC universe. No. There was DC Reboot, and then there was DC YOU. Yeah,
that was before Reboot.
It was its own thing.
Yeah.
If you go into New 52 books towards the end of the New 52, you will see promotional art and stuff for DC YOU.
Bringing you into the DC universe, putting the U in DCU, where making grounded stories about characters, the world outside your window.
That Superman was traveling the country on a motorcycle.
Yeah, yeah, and he was like dying of kryptonite poisoning or something. That was rough. That was a rough ride.
And he got like dark powers at one point to fight somebody. I don't remember how that worked.
He got kryptonite powers. He like jumped into a kryptonite cave or something. I don't remember. It was a dark time. Although what's funny is Super Heavy. It was one of those things like New 52, of course. Everything's different. We're going to reboot everything except for Batman and Green Lantern because you guys are in charge. Super Heavy, same deal. Where it's like Super Heavy, replace Batman, and he's like, okay, I'm going to make it part of my run though. I'm not making any major change. Like the change will be Batman goes over here, Gordon goes over here. I think though he said that like they told him like stop. Like put him back.
Stop Super Heavy?
Yeah, like put him back like right now. And he's like,
I actually liked Bloom. Mr. Bloom, that was a good villain.
I didn't like him,
different.
But Tiffany did, and I'll tell you this, like he's a great Gordon Batman villain. And it's too bad that he didn't really get to beat him. Like he does, but like by way of Bruce Wayne Batman. Like it's not.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I wish they'd bring back Bloom though. I think the ideas behind him and the way he seems so powerful and so capable and such a good villain.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we never got even got like an origin behind him, right? He's a plant guy.
He's a guy with a seed or something. I don't know. I will say I reread Super Heavy like a couple months ago and I was like, this is better than I gave it credit for.
Yeah, it was really good. Well, I think at the time that the Super Heavy was coming out, we were still like angry about Superman, and I don't remember what happened with Wonder Woman there. Was that right after Brian Azzarello left and they were doing the weird stuff, or they were trying to retcon in Donna Troy?
I don't even know. I think Azzarello was still running, and it was like
Azzarello's run was amazing, and I wish they didn't throw that all out. They retconned all of Wonder Woman to be in the Pantheon.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. It's still one of my favorite comic book runs ever.
Yeah. There's a movie. Did you see Blood?
No.
They made
what's Blood?
There's a Wonder Woman Blood like animated movie I think that like came out. I didn't see it, but I heard it was like an adaptation of Azzarello's like first volume or whatever.
Oh, is it where she fights the first son?
Yeah. I don't know.
She was still. She was. Once Azzarello's run ended, they wanted to kind of revert her back, but they wanted to keep some stuff. So all the gods became normal-looking gods again instead of Azzarello's take on them all. Yeah. And like she started going like, and she threw away the God of War helmet.
Yep.
And like Donna Troy showed up as a way to kill Wonder Woman. It's like, is that accurate?
Yeah. No. Well. Yeah. No. That's not one of Donna's personas. But I guess it could be.
But there's Troya. I mean, she's got the one that killed everyone.
Yeah, she is Troya. But yeah, so Green Lantern.
I like
is basically
up things that Sal obviously didn't enjoy.
No. but I assume so. Green Lanterns is basically just DCU again.
It's the same shit, and that's my complaint. Like, when I heard that they were doing a Jon Stewart, Jessica Cruz, Guy Gardner thing, I was, like, really excited.
Yeah.
Because, one, other than Justice League Odyssey, we've never really gotten to see Jessica Cruz own up to being a Green Lantern. Because during her run with Simon Baz, a lot of it was her being cautious about being a Green Lantern. So when she got to Justice League Odyssey, it was great because she really gets to be, I'm a confident Green Lantern, but she has no power.
Yeah.
She's run out of energy. For the record, they just did that plot. I'm literally covering it. Justice League Odyssey, she has 7% of her juice left, and she's not using the ring.
Oh, no.
So that book that literally is still going? I think it ended. It just ended if it did. And that was the plot, Sal. That was the plot.
Yeah, but he didn't read it.
She became the Omega Lantern, which we're ignoring apparently.
Oh yeah. Well, in future state we can ignore everything.
But man, it's so frustrating as a Green Lantern fan.
Yeah.
Because I just want a Green Lantern book that is about the 6 Green Lanterns that exist, all having fun adventures. Rotate who's the star for each book. Do one book about Hal. Give him a 3-issue arc. Do one about Jon Stewart. Give him a 3-issue arc. Do a Jessica Cruz thing for 3 issues. Then have her team up with Jon Stewart. Like, you have all of these possibilities. You have a Lantern Corps for everything on the emotional spectrum. Yeah. All these villains, all these characters, an entire amount of space to work with. You have basically the equivalent of DC's space opera. And one of the few things, other than like Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman, that Marvel can't replicate. They've tried. They can't make the Nova Corps the same thing as the Green Lantern Corps. See, like, okay, look, I love Flash, but they got Quicksilver, and they could just do Flash stuff with Quicksilver if they wanted. But
Pietro does not embody, and there's no Flash like him.
No, Barry is himself. You're right, but you don't even tell me that they couldn't just get someone to write Pietro like that.
Oh, they could, but it would be very weird. Like,
it would, but they could have a Flash. Is my point.
Yeah, but
like, they don't have a Batman. They don't have a Batman. They don't have a Superman, and their attempts at making a Wonder Woman have failed horribly
every time.
But outside of the Trinity, Green Lanterns is another thing they've never been able to replicate.
Yep.
So why are we making them like the Guardians of the Galaxy? Because that's what that struck me as. Jon Stewart running around with a sword and a pistol is just Peter Quill, man.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. That's no good.
And we just did a story of a Green Lantern losing the ring, and we just did a story of a Green Lantern becoming a Dark Star. So now the new story is Jon Stewart doesn't have powers.
Yeah, that's true. That's another thing where it's like I need a minute where they're Green Lanterns doing Green Lantern stuff. Now that being said, I mean, like, Morrison's run every page of Morrison's run that I've seen has been Hal Jordan in a Green Lantern suit doing Green Lantern stuff.
And it does a great job of it, but it's like its own unique, separate thing. Yeah. It's not the 6 Green Lanterns teaming up. They're not fighting the other corps.
It ain't the
They're
Johns
not having their own space opera.
Yeah, it's not even close to the feel.
And I'm not saying do what Vendetti did, and I'm not saying do what Johns did, but you mean to tell me that they tapped every option?
Oh, no. No, they have a plan. They have an idea about where they want to go. They tap the people who will facilitate that plan. They also were like in a position where it was like, look at the lineup for Future State and consider whether Future State was maybe a remodeled 5G. Do you see any familiar names? Like, do you see Tom
we had that whole argument.
Or Scott Snyder or like Gail Simone or anybody who might be tapped to do these books? Williamson doing Justice League was a surprise.
Yes, I'll agree with that. Because when we first looked at these, he wasn't even on the list.
And I don't think he was. So, like there were some, but like otherwise it was all new people. So it was like probably when they were rolling out with 5G/Future State, they called people and they were like, I don't want to do that. And they were like, oh, well, we got to call literally anybody.
You know what? The Batman book, Luke feels like Luke as Batman.
But it ain't Luke as Batman.
Nothing about that. Wait, what is it?
It's Tim.
Oh, but you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
No. But what I'm saying is, like, it feels like what this would be, is what I'm getting at.
Yes, you're right.
Even the Titans one feels like a Titans book. It's just a bad one.
Right. Oh, I see. So each Future State book feels at least like their character. Like it is a Batman.
Does Harley Quinn and Scarecrow feel like Harley Quinn and Scarecrow?
Not really, but it is cool. Like the thing I'm subbing out Harley Quinn for is a neat idea. Like at the very Harley Quinn is basically like a Hannibal Lecter type character who's just like telling Crane how to catch villains, which is a neat concept and a gorgeous looking book, but it ain't Harley. Like, and I promise you, Harley Quinn in Future State will not look, sound, or act like anything you see when she joins the Bat family in the Batman books after all this. But the thing is, if you're going to deviate from the character, or if you're going to upend the premise, it better be dope. Like it better be dope as hell.
And it better not just feel like something I've read before. Okay, quick question. Where is it Tim? Because I've read this and I thought it was Luke the whole time.
No, it's Tim.
Tim's the brother that was in the hospital, right? Tim's
the brother who was visiting their sister, yeah.
Okay. Where was the reveal that it was Tim and not Luke?
I think they just said it. I think they just talked about it.
Because in the beginning, you're led to believe it's Luke, because he goes back and then Luke comes down the stairs.
Yeah, because they want you to think it's Luke, because Luke has been Batwing.
Right.
But I think it's Tim.
Yeah, chat's saying that as well.
Yeah. I think they're still burying the lead. Like, why is Tim Batman? How did that happen? They haven't told you yet.
I'm just wondering, what page did I miss where they clearly state it's
They don't. It's just that we know it's Tim.
Okay, we know it's Tim.
Yeah.
They're letting you think it's Luke right now.
The book is letting you think that, but DC publicity is like, no, it's Tim.
Yeah, actually, if I look at it right here, because I looked up the next Batman, Tim's got the beard, next Batman's got the beard. Yeah,
the beard.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I just did the video for that, and I'm like, did I miss some very clear, like, by the way, I'm Tim Fox?
Nope, it's in the attitude. Okay. It's in the approach.
Okay, all right, then I'm not crazy. Because you kept making me feel like, and then Tevi's like, it's Tim, and I'm like, wait, where did I miss this big mask off reveal?
Yeah, there ain't one. It's not there. It's just, we show you Batman. Well, because what's funny is, in Justice League, he has a missing, like, you can see his face. And in the next Batman, you can't. Like, he has like a mask over his face.
Okay.
So it's another level of deception where it's like, who is it? You know?
Okay. All right. Well, they spoiled it then. All right. Making me feel like I'm crazy. So.
No. They also don't care. Like, DC's also like, I mean, whatever. We'll tell you it's Tim. Yeah, it's Tim. All right. Just buy it.
So, but just to close my thoughts on Green Lantern,
yes.
The problem is it's not terrible. It's not good because it's nothing new. I really just felt like I was reading some Image indie book, because not only that, but Jon Stewart doesn't even look like Jon Stewart. He's got dreadlocks, a beard. Like,
really?
Nothing about the character says Jon Stewart if I didn't know I was reading a Jon Stewart story.
Huh.
Yeah. Like,
interesting. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you know, it would have taken a lot to get me to read this book regardless.
I know you're not a Green Lantern fan like I am.
It's true. It's true.
But it'd be like that. It'd be like them swapping around. Like, I tell you what, it'd be like them doing a Spider-Man story where he throws away the costume because it's getting in the way of a relationship with MJ.
Yeah.
You'd be like,
well,
okay.
Well, he did that.
Dick, we did that.
Exactly.
He does that a lot.
He does that like every 10 issues. So we're good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I should give this up.
Yeah.
Don't respect me.
Literally, that's the only thing you can do. Like, if you don't have like a big intergalactic story or like a personal story about a person's connection with with a mystical, science fiction-y, cosmic artifact, then what are you gonna do? You take it away.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna throw out my white not understanding the LGBTQ plus. I think I got all of them. Plight. Okay, and I'm gonna say I don't understand the plight. The new Flash in Justice League is the non-binary Flash everyone's been talking about.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go back on what I said earlier, where I was like, "Oh, I wish it wasn't a part of the character." And they would, you know what I mean? Like the character would just exist.
Right.
They did exactly what I wanted, Sal. You read that one, right?
The Justice League book.
They don't reference it. They don't talk about it. It is not a character trait. And I'm so happy.
Yep.
But I will not lie. When I was reading it, I was super confused because they kept referring to them as they and them. And so it'd be coming up and I'd be like, them, they. Oh, no, the Flash, right. The Flash is non-binary.
The first line where I think it was Wonder Woman who's narrating says they. I thought it was two Flashes. I thought they were talking about multiple characters, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I see. Oh, this is the non-binary. Oh, okay, I see. All right, I'm with you.
Don't even. But I think I will admit I like what they did because the character is a character. Jess is a character all to themselves. They have a personality, and they don't reference the non-binary. It's not a character trait. They're not using it to sell the book.
Yep.
They're just a character in the book. The only problem I have with that is that non-binary is not a common thing unless you're in our business, you're on Twitter, or you live in LA and New York. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist elsewhere, but it's not as common.
It's certainly not discussed commonly in the open.
Right. And so since that's not even referenced, it literally just looks like grammatical errors in the book.
Right. But the thing is, I think that approach is... The thing is, when you read it, you were confused for a second, you readjusted, and now you will read it right from here on out. and they want
That's because I know that they're non-binary.
Right, but they want you to
what
do
if
that.
you didn't know that?
Oh, if you didn't know that, you'd be confused.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm talking about the Midwest of America and everywhere else in the world. When you're reading this, and non-binary is not a super common thing. You don't read about it. You're not aware of it. I stumbled on it, and I know what non-binary is and how to reference the grammatical pronouns.
Yeah. And I think that's just their way of being like, listen, we're gonna lose some people. Not like lose sales, but I think we're gonna lose some people in terms of them not being like, it's gonna confuse them for a second. But if we can do our part to normalize it, it's worth doing. And I think that's the approach.
And if that's the goal, I agree with it. It did a really good job. Their character being handled in that way. It's the first time that I, as someone who lives in Colorado, has seen non-binary used in normal discussion.
Never seen it in a comic book. Never seen it anywhere else, really. So
right, and it worked. It was great, and I loved the fact that because of the grammatical corrections there, we do acknowledge that they are non-binary. I'm trying to say it correctly.
Right.
But there wasn't like a panel devoted to it. There wasn't like a whole discussion about it.
No.
It reminded me when we did Alan Scott as being gay in the Earth 2 book.
Yes.
Other than that first issue where they were like, he's super gay. It was just a part of his character later. It wasn't like a character trait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is all I want. Like, if you're going to...
And I loved that. I loved that initially in the original book.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved how they handled that with the Green Lantern. And I actually my concern was because, like you said earlier, Screen Rant and everybody and they were doing it for their headlines. Oh, it's a non-binary Flash. And my concern was, is the non-binary Flash going to be, I'm the non-binary Flash, by the way?
Right.
You know,
like, will they fight like the intolerant? And it's like a team of people who just don't want to handle it. Like, no, I think that it's just like, we have the people who are developing this clearly don't like Flashes. So,
oh yeah, 100%.
So they're like, okay, rather than use any of the Flashes that I hate, let's invent a new Flash and use him as an opportunity to normalize this thing we want to talk about. And I'm like,
right.
I mean, like, if your choices are try and normalize non-binary people or further ruin Wally West, I guess obviously I'll take the non-binary option. The funny thing is, they're like, how about both?
And we just fixed Wally. He's in the red suit again.
Oh, yeah.
He's redeemed. Roy accepts it. We're all good. Now we're evil.
Yep. Well, don't worry. No one's going to use that later. But you know what's funny about this is that non-binary Flash, who needs a new name, but like, he's not called that, but like, there are a lot of Flashes.
Yeah.
But that character I don't think he's from this universe or something.
No, they're from a different universe in general. They're a different person. Their name is Jess. That's all we know.
So they can come to the main DC universe and be a character from now on. Like, that's another person.
It's not Jess Chambers. Is that
I don't think so.
I don't think so, because Jess Chambers is another character. I thought.
But I think that they are going.
But I think it's technically Jess Chambers from a different universe kind of a situation.
That makes sense. Well, like, either way, I think they are going to pop in after Future State's over and be like, I'm from a crazy future or whatever. I was in a crazy future and now I'm back here and that didn't happen, so now I'm here. Like, and it's like, how about another Flash? Welcome to the team. We'll get your wing of the museum added.
It is Jess Chambers. Oh, they were just introduced. Okay.
Yeah.
Who am I thinking of then?
I don't know.
I'm thinking Jesse Quick. I'm mixing those two up.
Yes.
Because I clicked it. I'm like, Jess Chambers from this other team from Earth 11. And they're flagged as being non-binary right here in the wiki. And then I was like, well, what's the first appearance? The Very Merry issue that just came out in December. So like, okay, so they're brand new. This is not, I'm thinking Jesse Quick. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Either way, it's just kind of like, great way to introduce a character. And I'm not of the opinion that, like, one should constantly worry about not trying to normalize, like, an aspect of our current society. And if DC could have done it, any of these publishers could have done it in a very ham-fisted or inappropriate way. And instead, they're like, here's a new character. They're a blank slate. They can be anything. You know what? Let's make it this. As opposed to, let's make it like, another, like, heterosexual white person or like a new black character or a woman. It's like, no, we're doing this new thing and it doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. So let's treat it like that. And it's like, yeah, good for you. You know what? It's not actually that brave because you stuck it in Future State. but like, hey, they can pop in from there, and you made that an aspect of their character, so even better. Like, all the better. Go for it. Like, cool.
I actually really like a lot of this. I know you're not, but I'm actually really liking a lot of Future State. If this was the turn of DC for 5G,
right,
would have hated it. I guarantee you.
Absolutely.
Because if this was just the future of DC, oh wow.
This would not have been for me. Would have been a great jumping off point for a lot of people.
It would have been a great jumping off. It would have been like just like DC Rebirth, but they would have lost so many fans.
That's what I'm saying. No, I mean jumping off. Like a lot of people being like,
jumping off.
I guess I'm done with DC. King in Black, you say? Like, I think a lot of people would have just been like that. Like,
I'm not. This is all speculation, but I'm seeing if Dan DiDio was hardcore pushing this to the point where none of the original writers or teams are on it, none of them are on it, and then was like, we're changing everything around. I could see why WB was like, oh, okay, we're done with this.
Get out.
If he was hardcore trying to push this in. I mean, we don't know anything about what actually happened going down there, but at the same time, there's some good stuff in here.
Yeah.
I do like the next Batman. It's a little slow. I did say last week, but slow. I'm assuming in 4 issues, it'll get better.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah, let's hope so. The Wally West thing, I think, would be a good Elseworld story.
And I think that's what they'll do. In fact, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they did that. If like afterwards, you got all these Future State spines, and they're like, "You're not Future State anymore. You're an Elseworlds book."
Yeah, I can see it being a fun Elseworlds with the Teen Titans, depending on how they're going to work that together with the Apocalypse stuff.
True.
That could be cool.
Yeah.
I really like the Justice League, and I really like the characters they put in there. I really do, actually. I like the idea that they don't want to make the same mistakes. They don't want to get that close. I like Yara. I like John. That was a great combo.
Yep.
I think her name is Andy, the daughter of
Mara and Arthur.
Maybe. Did you notice they obscured their faces?
They did, but she has aquakinesis. So, yeah. But
why? What are you hiding that you need to obscure Mara and Arthur's faces?
Right? I don't know. It's interesting.
Or maybe they just didn't want to draw them.
I think they were like, what if like one of them lost an eye or something? What if somebody upstairs wants to change it? Like, I don't want to be responsible for having decided what the status quo is for Aquaman and Mara when they don't have their own book in this new future.
That could be. I liked that. I liked Jess. I thought that they were a great character, actually, the way they were portrayed, the way it was handled. I like them straight out stating, oh, Barry was the CSI. Jess is just fast.
Right. Like, stop telling Jess to do things. They don't know anything about crime. Right.
I thought that was a great little caveat. Yep. Superman, Wonder Woman. I don't know how that lines up with Justice League, but overall, it's a cool idea.
Right. I haven't read
John
that one
trying to be a hero. Yeah. Oh, it's actually a lot of fun. You get to see a lot more Yara stuff.
Cool.
And how John kind of merges into that world.
That's interesting because because I loved the Wonder Woman book. Her solo issue by Yoel Jones or Joel. It's amazing.
That was amazing.
Unbelievable.
Amazing.
That's a triumph. That's like, Future State was worth it. You made this amazing book. Now, really, you could have just. I mean, like, Joelle Jones could have just made her own character.
Yara's going to probably just show up.
Oh, she's going to.
There's no reason why she couldn't. They're like, it's another tribe.
You have, you've Jess show up in the Infinite Frontier Omniverse DC status quo, and they're like, oh, my Wonder Woman is in the Amazon rainforest right now. Let's go get her now, as opposed to like in 5 years. Like, let's just go get her right now.
Yeah. I am wondering why we keep making new Flashes and new Green Lanterns, but I think that's a discussion for another day.
Yes. I have a whole episode of Back Issues where I'm literally like, I don't understand why you need so many Flashes. Like,
at least with the Green Lantern, the excuse is they're a police force.
Yes.
Like, okay. It doesn't make sense that we have 6 Earthlings, but at least we're spreading them out. Like,
it's true. Like, it went from we got one human to the bulk of them are people. Like, the bulk of them are human. But with it's like speedsters. They all go fast. There's 9 of them.
They'll do the exact same thing.
Like, why? Like, okay. Here's another one.
That's why we need if you want to make the big non-binary character, why don't you make it someone else? Like, why does that have to be another Flash?
I think because it's going to be, you know why? Because Flash fans are a family. They're a welcoming community. And it's like, we want someone who's going to be embraced. You make a Superman, people are like, there's too many Supermen. Batman, same deal. Martian Manhunter, no one will read it. So it's like, oh, if I make it a Flash, they're already used to having so many freaking Flashes as it is. And Flash fans are more or less like happy people who are happy to have another speedster. So let's just add them there.
True. I mean, the Bat Family's huge, but at the exact same time, members of the Bat Family all kind of have different tools and gimmicks.
Yeah,
and
but we do know that they don't always work. I cite Blue Jay or Bluebird. I don't even know her name.
Right. But I think it was Bluebird. Yeah,
she's getting her. Yes, she's going to be in Joker or whatever. I get it. But like,
I mean, the Bat Family has like 15 people. They have more Flashes and Green Lanterns than anyone else. But the difference between the Bat Family and like the Flash family is every Flash has the same power set, and the only thing that separates them is Wally's a little.
No, Wally is a little. Wally was a little faster. Well, I mean, yes. Well, but the reality is, no matter how many, I mean, Wally had 2 kids. They're speedsters too. Don't forget about like Jesse Quick and like and Earth 2 Flashes. The fact is, Flash fans seem to not mind if we overcrowd the Flash family. Like there's always room for one more. Apparently, I don't know. I'm not a Flash fan, so like for me, I'm like,
that's how it works with the Green Lanterns. Instead of just being like a future. Oh, and future in the Far Sector, Jessica Cruz is our female. They're like, make another one,
another one, new one, human.
Make it a human too. Yeah.
Okay.
You can't even make it like a humanoid alien. Right. It has to be a human.
There are those. But no, another human. But no, Flash is just Flash fans apparently. Like, and I want to know actually. Like, let me know if you guys out there if there are any like hardcore Flash fans. You're like, yay, another Flash! Welcome to the family.
I'm a hardcore Flash fan, and I think Barry and Wally's enough.
We'll see. I think so too. I'm not a huge
Barry
Flash
and Wally
fan.
are fine. Jay being the old guy who's he was the Flash back in the 40s, but he's kind of old now. Okay, that's it. They're Flash family.
And Max Mercury, pre-Jay. And Bart from the future. Don't forget Bart.
Stop. No.
And Wally's kids,
it's
too.
Wally, no. Wally, Barry, and Jay.
And isn't Liberty Bell also fast?
Stop.
Yeah.
I'll do this to you, Spider-Man. Let's talk about the Spider family.
Yeah, I hate it. And I yeah, Spider-Verse, more like Sal's not going to read it verse.
You know what? Let's caveat over that. This wow. For not having anything to talk about, it's going to be a long episode. How do you feel about a Clone Saga with Miles?
I won't read it, but I'm not reading Miles' book anyway. So.
Okay, I will say I'm excited for the Clone Saga because Miles has set up a whole different thing.
I know.
A whole different thing. The clone showed up, and if they go in that direction with that clone, okay.
Of course they will.
If we decide Jackal's showing back up and Jackal's making more clones.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, hey, I made this cute blonde. She's older than you. What do you think? You like her?
You like Spider-Gwen, right? There's a comic where you kiss and it sold like crazy.
It did, and we never really went anywhere with that, except the movie. Yeah. I mean, I don't understand. I think, I've said this before, I think that the Clone Saga is the mark of hubris for Marvel Spider-Man writers, like, now. Like, in the world of today. Like, the Clone Saga was this thing. It was this black mark on the run, or on the character. They tried to, like, pretend it didn't happen. They tried to ignore it. They tried to embrace it and lean into it. Nobody likes it. It's not true. There's 1,000 people who like it, and they all contact me. But, like, the rest of us don't. And
I mean, dude, I have not. I don't shy away from the fact I stopped reading Spider-Man books until Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. I stopped the Clone Saga. I did not come back until that movie came out, and I said I'm going to go try a Spider-Man book. And the one I got was okay. Up until Amazing Spider-Man 1 with Andrew Garfield, I literally said I don't read Spider-Man because Clone Saga was a shit show and all he ever does is cry.
That's why I quit. I quit because of the Clone Saga. I got back in with JMS, and it took a long time to get there because it also was bad then too. But But anyway. I feel like now, the Miles book is selling well, the character is celebrated, the creative team is enjoyed, and they're like, time for me to do the Clone Saga, show everybody how great I am. Like,
well, the reason why this Miles book is good, they're trying to make Miles his own character finally. They're not just he's got his own thing going on with the Rhino. He's got his own thing going on with Ultimate Green Goblin. He's got his own side characters. It's feeling like classic Miles back in the Ultimate Universe again, where they're like, okay, fine, we get it. There's a bunch of Spider people, but we don't need him doing Spider-Man stuff. He needs to do Miles things.
Yes.
And he's doing Miles things. And that's what's cool about the current Miles book.
Yeah.
I feel like for the first time in like 5 years, I'm reading a Miles book and not a Spider-Man Jr. book.
Right.
So
yeah. I mean, good. It could also be, and I'll give the writer credit. It could just be Marvel going, "Oh, you're doing things with clones. We got to call it the Clone Saga." That'll make people really mad, and then they'll have to buy it. And it's true.
Well, the current writer is doing the long con. It's a slight problem for my videos, but he's doing the long form.
Yeah.
He's setting up things to come back 10 issues later, like Ultimate Green Goblin and the Ultimatum. They didn't resolve until issue 2021. In between that, we got the Assessor who made the clone, but the clone had no mental capacity and only did what they told him to do.
Okay.
So my theory is we're going to get another clone now, but this one's going to be cognizant of everything.
Right.
And that, and that'll be what we're doing.
I mean,
and then we'll get Miles Kane and Miles Scarlet and
yes, Scarlet Spider and Kane. I can't wait. Looking forward to it. More Spider people. Add them on. Just pile them on. Give me 1,000 Spider-Man characters.
What would you do if Miles isn't even cloned? It's another Peter Parker and another Spider-Gwen.
I mean, I'd just be like, I'm not reading it. So I'm just like, I'll hear about it and just laugh about how I'm saving money. But, I mean, it'd be funny if the Jackal was like, I'm cloning Miles now. Peter gives me too much trouble. Like,
I know. That is my only concern. They're like, the Assessor is Jackal.
That is probably what they're going to do. And it sucks. But, like, nothing they're going to do about it, but do it. They're not going to not do it. So,
all right. So you want to go through these news beats real quick?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So Future State has officially begun. We discussed that.
Woo.
I'll double back around to this next one because you had some thoughts on that.
Yeah.
DC's Death Metal reveals that the Omniverse is there. We already discussed that. WandaVision director is working with the Spider-Man 3 and Doctor Strange directors to make sure that the crossovers make sense in the massive So you mean to tell me if you just keep your continuity cohesive, we'll be happy? That sounds great to me.
Yeah, that sounds great. Good idea. Good.
Marvel. Yeah, I know. Marvel Studios' Fantastic Four reboot confirmed by Kevin Feige with Spider-Man Homecoming director. Last month, he stated that there's talks of rebooting, integrating the X-Men into the MCU have been long and ongoing internally, though we cannot say when it's officially announced. I really think they're going to do the Krakoa thing. If you just say the X-Men are on an island and no one knew they existed,
right,
you've resolved it.
Yeah. I'm still of the opinion that, like, just have it be they have a mansion in Westchester and Professor X uses his mental powers every morning and wipes the memory of mutants clean from everyone's memory. Like,
I mean, you could do that with Krakoa, though, which would tie it into the comics, which we know the MCU loves to do, and Kevin Feige's in charge now. So why wouldn't he just say, Mutant Island?
Because the mansion's more iconic than their sex island. That's why.
But the sex island is so much fun.
Because clearly they completely top-down restructured Avengers Tower into the Baxter Building. And we're getting the Baxter Building, but we're not going to get the mansion in Westchester. You can't go from the island to Westchester. You got to go from Westchester to the island.
No, what if they're on the island and we discover them through the mansion that was left behind?
So that way you have Wolverine and Gambit and stuff. There was an original 5, and they're older now.
Yes, they're older now.
All right, I guess that'd be fine.
And we bring back Hugh Jackman.
No, I love Hugh Jackman. I love Hugh Jackman, but it's over.
No, it's not. It's never over, man.
No, it's all.
They brought back Andrew Garfield as a Spider-Man.
We don't know
that.
It is
not over Hugh Jackman.
Trust me. If they bring
Michael
Andrew
Keaton
Garfield
is
back,
playing Batman, and then one of somethings. I don't even know anymore.
Maybe a Flash movie.
Possibly, if that ever happens. I don't even know. They aren't, but we're probably going to get Michael Keaton Batman back and something else before then. They're going to be, we signed him before we finished the movie. Fuck it. Put it in a Zack Snyder cut.
Seriously. Go ahead. We'll see it. I don't know. Yeah. But I'm down. Whatever. As long as X-Men are in it, I'm down. I'm excited. Sounds good.
Dude, I hate Hickman. I hate him.
I know.
I can't be the guy that hates an X-Men anymore. I'm enjoying it.
Good. It's great.
No, don't you do that to me. Don't you? You got to read Miles. You got to read the new Miles.
Nah.
You got to read the Clone Saga.
I might read the Clone Saga. We'll see.
Okay, so Oscar Isaac is going to be playing Moon Knight. I'm excited for that. I am.
Good for. I remember hearing rumors it was Shia LaBeouf, so I'll take Oscar Isaac all day. I like Oscar Isaac, but again, like sometimes he's miscast. Apocalypse, and so like this is a good move for him. He's a cool character actor. I don't have an actor in mind for Mark, so why not?
I mean, I agree with you 100%. Right? I have nothing negative to say about that. So PlayStation CEO says the Uncharted movie starring Tom Holland and the HBO series The Last of Us are just the beginning. I 100% think this. I've had a weird feeling this is where Sony was going for a while with their PlayStation properties. They've been spending years crafting these giant epic telling storylines to the point where I almost make fun of, like, Andy and I have a constant back and forth about video games. Mm-hmm. I enjoy gameplay over a narrative.
Yes.
Because I feel like I can watch a movie. While Andy enjoys a strong narrative over gameplay. The problem is, normally if a game's got a very strong narrative, very rarely, and it does exist, but very rarely does that game also have very solid gameplay. Right. Normally it's hold you by the hand and just leads you along gameplay. I love Red Dead Redemption 2, but if you're literally doing story missions, you are literally being held by the hand on what to do.
Yes.
What makes Red Dead Redemption 2 fun is going off in the open world. Uncharted is great. But don't tell me you could explore anything. You're going from point A to point B, shoot a guy, swing him.
You're playing a movie.
Yeah.
Uncharted is
you're playing a movie. And since that, Death Stranding, Last of Us, these are all just movies in the format of a 10-hour game. Yep. I've said it for a while, like, just make a movie.
Yeah.
Like, everyone complains about Last of Us.
And it sucks.
Dude, you want to hear something mind-blowing? It is in continuity.
Oh, of the games?
I'm playing Valhalla, which is now shut down because the PlayStation decided to turn itself off. I'm playing Valhalla, and Natalie was like, well, where does this fit in the timeline? So I pulled up the accurate canonical timeline. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, we go Valhalla, we go to Altair with Assassin's Creed 1, and then we go to Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed Revelations, Assassin's Creed the movie. Assassin's Creed the movie! And apparently it's considered canon because they reference Arno in the movie. Mm-hmm. Oh, no. One of the other games references Arno and the movie stuff.
Oh.
So it's like it's being referenced with other Assassin's Creed properties, basically. Because Arno's from Unity. Yeah.
Super boring.
I don't think the movie's... I think the problem is the movie didn't have to be boring.
No.
There's a lot of really good ideas in the movie, and you could tell that there was some bigwig that's like, no one will understand this. Hey, let's also make it subtitled.
Yeah, it was just, no. It's not great. It looks okay, but it's not great. And you got Fassbender, who's also great, but not in that movie.
Yeah. The real world stuff just makes no sense in that. Oof. Like, people won't understand laying down on an animus bench. Give them like a robotic arm that jumps with them.
Yeah, that's cool looking. We got the CG on metal pretty down, so we can make that look really good. But yeah, we got that. So yeah, but like Uncharted, I remember they've been working on the movie forever. So I remember when I think they were teasing that like Nathan Fillion was going to play Nathan Drake when they were first talking about that. And it's like, he's too old now. It's Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. When they first initially talked about it, it was like back in Uncharted like 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Like Nathan Fillion was in shape. He would have been able to do it all. Now it's like 15 years later. I was like, guys, he's put on a few pounds. Yeah. I mean, I love Nathan Fillion, but he ain't playing no 20-year-old treasure hunting Indiana Jones guy.
No. But he can be Mal again, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to bring him back.
You just tell the story of 10 years later. What's Mal doing now? Right. Drinking on the ship.
Right? Probably sleeping with an aura. But yeah, so Uncharted, cool. I'm down. The Sonyverse, like the PlayStation. You know what's funny for me? Like, hey, listen, if I always hope that these Sony PlayStation movies succeed, because if they have like their billion-dollar franchises and these things they already own, maybe they'll be less inclined to keep Spider-Man. You know, maybe they could just let him go. Well,
the PlayStation's been holding them like forever now, and the PS5 is selling like gangbusters, and everything's going insane. So,
yeah, but I'll take that movie. That sounds cool.
I mean, I'm excited because Last of Us. I loved the original plot. I didn't like the second game because I just found it boring and a rehash.
It's just not a very good story.
No, I don't think it's a good story at all. And that's entirely argument for a different day because I also horribly disagree with it getting Game of the Year, but whatever.
Yeah, no.
I mean, that for those guys who don't know, that's how Game Awards shows work. You just pay off people to give you the thing. You don't directly pay them off. You give them all gifts, and then it's like when they said Hideo Kojima was making rounds to other game studios who were conveniently the voters of Game of the Year when Death Stranding was a thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you do. You go around, shake hands, and be like, hey, guys, you got to vote, right? You know, remember, I got a game, Death Stranding.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what Last of Us 2 was. Hey, guys, I got Last of Us 2. If you go to Twitter, it's full of controversy and apparently a very brave story. So why don't you vote for that? All right, well, let's close out the show, Sal, now that we hit the end of our normal time.
Why not?
Thank you guys for joining us today at Absolute Comics. Don't forget, if you want to support the show, please consider subscribing right here on Twitch. We bring you a podcast every Tuesday and Thursday. But if you're just an Absolute Comics fan and you want to stick around with it, consider going to patreon.com/comicpop or patreon.com/comicstorian. And you can also support us by getting the Absolute Comics t-shirt, which I think should be on display down below. We're working on a new one. It's the Absolute Comics soda shirt. That'll be the 2021 thing.
Sweet.
I also thought about doing like the Mr. Sparkle Simpsons kind of thing, but with your face.
That'd be awesome.
Like the Japanese.
Oh, I know what you're saying. Yeah. I'll send you free premium.
Hawaii, Sal. Yeah. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. It was supposed to be a shorter episode, turned into a super long episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys next week right here at the Comic Story Podcast Network with Absolute Comics. I don't see why if we cancel at this point, we really had something come up because
something happened.
There's a lot of stuff to talk about now. All right, we'll see you guys next week.